Giveaway goodies. Alright, so in my August plan with me, I said I was afraid of August because of the heat. And guess what? I had every reason to be scared. I don't think I've slept in 3 weeks. I'm just kidding, I have slept. But the heat has been intense. It has been over 30 degrees for the majority of the days this month, and I have never sweat so much in my life from doing absolutely nothing. On the plus side, the plants are absolutely loving life, so at least they're happy. But I digress, we are not here to talk about my sweat glands. We are here to get September set up. Alright, so right off the bat you may notice that the size of this video is the wrong size, I guess. Basically I shot it in like portrait mode instead of landscape mode, and I didn't realize until probably halfway through this through the filming of the cover page, so I apologize for that if it looks a little weird. You may also notice that the lighting is entirely different, and that's because my ring light broke, and I've been trying to film everything with natural light, and as you can imagine, that's a lot easier said than done. You'll notice in this video that the lighting changed a lot from the clouds and the sun peeking out at different times, so I apologize if that looks a little weird. So, as you may have noticed, this theme is going to be tulips. So for the cover page, I'm drawing a ton of tulips, and let me tell you, it was a lot of work. I'm basing this picture off of a picture that I found on Pinterest of a huge wall piece full of tulips, and once I saw it, I had to do it. The nice thing about the tulips, though, is that they're really easy to color in. I started the first layer of just the pale pink and then went over on top of it with a little bit of yellow at the base and then a darker pink to add some dimension to it. After the sunflower theme, this was actually quite a nice break because the sunflowers took so much work with all the petals, and tulips are kind of a basic shape, so I was really glad to have that change. Also, while we're watching this, I'm just gonna say now, it is so hot, you guys, here right now. It's probably about 40 degrees. We're going through another heat wave right now. Sorry, that's 40 degrees Celsius. I'm not really sure what that is in Fahrenheit. But it is so hot. I'm just recording this voiceover and I'm sweating. And I'm not even doing anything. I'm sitting here, the heat pump is on, I think, and like, I'm dying. Now granted, anytime I do a voiceover I sweat anyway because my anxiety just skyrockets. I get really bad social anxiety apparently. So that's nothing new, but the heat wave is not helping me out at all. Also, this is my first time actually filming a voiceover without recording any kind of script, so this is kind of new for me. I write a script usually because I forget about all the things that I want to say during a video, and it just helps me kind of keep a flow and a consistency to the video. But I figured I'd try something new and try to go for a more natural flow. So let me know if this is super awkward and choppy because I have no idea what I'm doing. Alright, so for the background of this picture, I asked you guys on Instagram what you'd prefer to see, if you wanted to do the whole background in black or do this kind of inverted look, and the majority of you actually voted for the inverted look. So I did the black on one side and then I inverted it to the white background on the other side and did black text. And I'm not complaining because this actually saved me so much time and probably a lot of ink with my marker. Alright, on to the monthly spread. I apologize because apparently this got cut off entirely when I started out the monthly, but I mean, you didn't miss a lot. I basically just drew a bunch of boxes and colored in the headers. Then I used these stickers from Stick with Kate on Etsy for the monthly header and the daily headers, and drew in obviously the dates. So this month, instead of doing an entire page dedicated to my goals, I'm just drawing in a little section for the goals themselves. and then a little section as well for the dates. I'm not sure if this is actually going to work out for me yet because it's a little small, but we'll see how it goes. Then in the right hand corner, I drew two little sections for my Instagram growth and for Etsy sales. I could have probably included a section for YouTube too, but it wasn't really fitting with this layout, so I just decided to opt out of that. I'm not actually sure how I'm going to use these little sections yet because I didn't really plan out like how to utilize those. So maybe I'll put like the number of followers, maybe the number of posts. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, then in the left corner, I drew my very first wheelbarrow, which was a new one because I've never drawn really anything other than flowers. So this was an interesting learning process. I just chose something off of Etsy and I tried to draw it to the best of my ability. I think it turned out pretty decently, especially for a first time go, so I was pretty proud of it. Then of course, inside the wheelbarrow, we have a ton of little tulips. Also, I apologize for the fact that this is all cut off. I wasn't really paying attention to where my camera was placed. Apparently without my ring light, I am entirely useless at filming. I colored the tulips in pink and purple and then decided to add a couple of dark red ones, and I kind of regretted it because it kind of disrupted the flow of the tulips, but meh. Then in the right hand corner, I drew a couple more jumbo tulips and shaded them in. Of course, now that I'm a washi fan, I added in some more washi tape to the little empty bits. And there we go, she's all done. Oh yeah, I forgot to add a little bit of washi to the corner of that little box for the Instagram and Etsy spots. Not really sure how I feel about it, but whatever, we'll leave it as is. Alright, so we're starting off the first week with the stencils for the headers and then some kind of half vertical layouts. You may know that I'm not generally a fan of the vertical layouts, but once I had this idea to include the trackers in the spread instead of an entire sheet dedicated to my trackers, I figured I'd try it out and see how it looked. These stencils are also from Stick with Kate on Etsy, and I will link her shop down in my bio because she has so many good things, and I definitely encourage you to go check them out. So here I'm drawing out all of the habits that I'm going to track for this month, and I kind of divided them up into 4 sections. One was for physical stuff, one was for work-related stuff, one was for kind of like mental health, and one was just kind of for like whatever miscellaneous little things. Below that I included a little stress tracker as well because I'm starting a new workout program and my trainer suggested to also track the stress to see how it affects my progress. To the right of that, I have a section dedicated to all the weekly tasks I plan to tackle that week, and on the other side to the left, we have, of course, more jumbo tulip drawings. Alright, so here we go with week 2, and you guessed it, more tulips. This one's actually a little bit inspired by a picture that I saw on Canva when I was just scrolling through pictures of tulips. Kind of just like a bouquet splayed across the floor, and I really liked it, so I figured I'd use that as good inspiration for this layout. On the right hand side of the page, I have all 7 days, and I've never actually done this kind of layout before for my dailies, so I'm a little curious to see how this is going to work out. It's really thin, and I don't know if there's enough space to write there or not, so I guess we'll find out. Then on the left, I have a little box just dedicated for any notes. And beside that, of course, we have all of the habits to track. I also noticed once I finished all of these setups that I have this alternating theme going on this time. It seems to go black background, then white, then black background, then white. Kind of matches with my actual theme cover, so I'm kind of happy with how that turned out. I also gotta say, I really love how classy and elegant tulips look. Like, this just looks so romantic, it's so sweet. Alright, on to week 3, and this time we're doing a wider box layout, all along the center. The last section on the bottom right I have, of course, is dedicated to notes. All along the left, yet again, is all the habits and the stress tracker, with a little mini calendar this time. And what do you think is going on the right? Of course, more tulips. I apparently didn't size this out very well because I didn't realize that the September sticker was going to cut into my box, but I don't think it should be a problem. Also, I apologize for any background noise because that would be my laptop going crazy as I'm filming this voiceover. I'm basically just watching the video as I talk so I can keep up with what I was doing, and the laptop's going a little crazy right now. Anyway, there's the black background, and she's done. Alright, on to week 4, and this one is basically the opposite of what I did last time. So in the middle this time, instead of the boxes, we have a bunch of tulips, and then along the sides we have the dailies. Then in the middle we have the section for all the habits. It's been interesting trying to find different ways to include my habit trackers into my weekly spreads because, like I said, I normally include them all in their own page. So this has definitely been a good test of creativity to figure out different options for this. But since I've been including the habits in every single weekly, it's definitely cut out a lot of pages, so that's been nice. I'm actually saving some space this time. corner, I included the little spot for my stress tracker since I didn't really have anywhere else to put it, and slapped on some washi. Alright, as usual, I've included a page dedicated to the star of the theme, which this time obviously is tulips. So this time, instead of drawing a big jumbo flower, I decided to draw a vase full of all the flowers. This one was also new for me because I've never actually drawn a vase before. It sounds really simple, but because they're rounded, it was really hard for me to get the dimensions right. And I'm still not sure if the vase is really big enough. It looks kind of stumpy in comparison to the flowers, but I'm happy enough with it. This really made me realize though how much time I spend drawing flowers versus other objects. Because once I started drawing this, I had no idea how to actually shade it in or like add any highlights. I didn't have any idea what I was doing. And of course, we're going to bedazzle it up a little bit with some washi, and voila! This also made me realize that I didn't center this drawing at all, because clearly you can see the washi's a little closer on one side than the other. Oops. And then of course, as per tradition, we have a very last page dedicated to the review. I'm doing the same layout that I did last month, and I'm just dividing that up into 4 sections. The first section is for a few words about the month. The second is for accomplishments, the third is for difficulties, and the fourth is what my focus will be for next month. Of course, we slapped on more washi and we are good to go. So there we have it, guys. That is the entire thing. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and here of course is a final little flip through of the completed project.